Okay, I think I must start. So my name is Michael, and today we are going to answer a very important question. I will try to help you answer the question if you are ready for cloud era. But first of all, I will ask you something. Who out of you has already some projects in cloud? Many people. Okay, like most of the room here. So we will see if you are ready for cloud era. Anyway, across last years in IDEMIA, I made many presentations related to cloud. I was speaking about some cloud services, AWS, serverless, cloud databases, and so on. Many presentations, but today I'm not going to speak about any particular cloud. I'm not going to speak about any particular service. I'm not going to learn you how to use any of the services. Today, we will see why it is important to learn cloud, why it's so important, and we will answer if you are ready for a cloud, am I ready for the cloud? So the presentation was initially scheduled for like 40 minutes, but I was given 20 minutes. We are starting a little bit later and so on, so it might be a little bit longer. Not very much. Anyway, please sit tight, fasten your seatbelts, and do not blink, because if you blink, you can miss a few slides in the presentation. I told you I'm not going to speak about like cloud details, but anyway, just to have everybody on the same page, most of you already use cloud, but I was looking for like the simplest definition. What is the cloud? So the simplest definition I see is just the cloud is just someone else's computers. That's it. And what does it mean to be in the cloud? So it means to run your application on someone else's computers. And there are many regions, services, cloud providers, and so on. But that's the simplest thing. Like somebody else is running infrastructure for us, and we are running applications. Okay. So for the start, let's see how fast I can be in cloud. I also never done it before. So I'm usually finishing the presentations with some kind of live demo, but today I will start the presentation from a live demo, and the purpose of this demo will be to start a WordPress server in the cloud. And I'm not going to explain any particular details. I will just tell you it's AWS. It's in Stockholm region. I need a VPC for this, so I will just create one using a creator. So it's going to be a WordPress. I will leave settings to default. Probably I don't need these, so create. It's creating. And for WordPress, I will just use Elastic Beanstalk because it's easy and fast. So create new environment. It's going to be web server, eXpo 7, that's our eXpo WordPress. Okay, this will auto-populate. Platform, WordPress is PHP. Okay, and upload your code. So I will make it bigger. So I will choose a file. I have WordPress server already downloaded. How convenient. It will be loading for a moment. Just wait. This is like this time we have to wait. Okay, configure more options. So WordPress requires database. I will add database. You can do it from Elastic Beanstalk. It's MySQL database. I need version 5 dot something, so I will choose this one. Username, of course, admin, and some password that hopefully I will remember. And I will also check this. Save. I need two more things. So I need to set the root directory with WordPress server. So it's here. The WordPress is installed just in WordPress directory. I need to save settings. Okay, and I just need the networking. So my VPC, eXpo 7 WordPress. I need a public IP for this to be available, and the instances will be in public subnets, and the database will be in the private subnet. So let's save it and create environment. So now it's going to be created in some minutes. It says a few minutes, but trust me, it takes 12 or 15 minutes. We don't have so much time, so I created exactly the same environment before the presentation. So I will just skip to this step. And that's the eXpo WordPress B environment. That's how it looks like after creation. And once it's created in Elastic Beanstalk, you get this nice URL that you can click, and you are in WordPress installation. So just to sum everything up, I will just install it. So database name, when you do it with Elastic Beanstalk, the default database name is EBDB. So Elastic Beanstalk database. Username admin, and I hope I set this. Database host. So this is from the configuration, which is here. And on the button, you will see the URL. I need only a host name. So it's this. Okay, run the installation. And site title, so it's going to be my blog. Username admin, password admin1234. And by the way, it's available only from this IP and our office, I think. And I will just put my email address, install WordPress. Take a second, hopefully. Okay, login. Okay, spell it. Ever. So I'm in WordPress configuration. I successfully started WordPress server in cloud. I can even go to the main page. As you can see, it's Michael's blog. So I created my blog in AWS. And let's now go back to the presentation. Okay. So that was pretty fast. I think I spent like 5 minutes or so creating this. It was fast. I have database. I'm in cloud. I have my server. Like everything looked nice. I'm in Stockholm. Like you could think how longer it would take to just go to Stockholm, buy servers, install them, and so on. So it was fast, but I think I omitted a few things, and this is just a list of few of the things I omitted. So definitely I was not thinking about security. I told you it's available from this IP address. It's true, but I prepared it before. So I omitted security. I omitted credentials. What about networking? I created some VPC, but is it secure? And backups? I have database, but where are the backups? Is it SLA here? 3 nines, 4 nines? What's the SLA? Monitoring? Do I know if it still works or not? And where are the logs from WordPress? Nobody knows. Maybe it's somewhere in Elastic Beanstalk, but who knows? Is it highly available? Do I have 1 instance, 2 instances? What about this? Encryption? Is it encrypted? I don't think so. Some permissions, what if that fails? I don't have the procedure. Updates, I don't know how to do updates. Do I need SSH access, or maybe I need DOS protection, or I need WAF, or should I create it geo-redundant, or TLS, certificates, secrets rotation, VPN, integration with customers. Do I need integration with customer? Like, there are many, many, many things that I omitted doing this live demo. So it's very easy to be in the cloud, and it's very fast to be in the cloud. But doing it properly and thinking about all this stuff is far from that. And now we will speak about cloud myths. There are many cloud myths. I have time for 3. And first of all, is cloud easy? So sometimes we think that cloud is easy. Like, it's definitely easier to start something in the cloud than start it on premise when it comes to building infrastructure, like buying racks, buying some space, providing cooling, and so on. However, if you would like to do something properly in cloud, it's getting very, very difficult. And it requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of exercises to start things properly in cloud. The second thing, like, people usually think that cloud is highly available by default, and it's not. Actually, you also have to configure a few things. The services gives you a possibility to be highly available, but speaking, for example, about AWS, you must think about availability zones, about regions. Sometimes you would like to be geo-redundant, but there are no real services that will give you geo-redundancy, and especially redundancy between clouds. There are no ready solutions for most of the cases, especially. Like for WordPress, it might be easy to be geo-redundant, but when it comes to our IDEMIA applications, it's getting more and more difficult. Load balancing, I already told you about DR procedures. DNS configuration. In Azure, we have, for example, different SKUs and different tiers. So we also have to think, which one do I need? Do I need standard V2, premium, basic version of the service? And there are different sizes, like smaller instances, bigger instances, and so on. So there are many, many things to discuss and to think about. And also, there is a service level agreement, so SLA. And this is from AWS documentation about EKS. And in the second chapter, I think here, you will see that SLA for EKS is 3.5 nines, 99.95. Sounds okay. Means if we have application that requires 3 nines, so the EKS should be right. But what about if the SLA is not delivered? So then we can get service credit. So we won't get real money, we can get service credit, the money for the next month, but still it's kind of money. And for example, if instead of 3.5 nines, we have only 2 nines, they will give us 10%. If it's less than 2 nines, but more than 95%, they'll give us 25% up to 100% of money we paid for EKS. So let's do the math. That's the real bill we paid for 1 production environment for EKS. In August, I think, we paid $66.22. So 10% of it is $6.62. And 25% is $16.56. So go to your customer and tell them we were not able to deliver these 3 nines, but it's not our fault, it's AWS fault. Here is your $7, and I hope that helps. Yes, so good luck with this. Okay, but anyway, clouds gives you the opportunity to be highly available, but still you have some work to do. Cloud transitions are seamless. That's like the last point. So cloud transitions are seamless if you have proper knowledge. Your team, all team have proper knowledge. Especially the best case is when the application was designed with cloud in mind. So for example, it's stateless, or it doesn't require some sophisticated stuff that is not available in the cloud. And this brings us to the third point. So everything you need is available in the cloud. So if I need something that is not available, then I will have problem. And then everybody around you has some understanding for the cloud. And it's not our understanding of the cloud, but for the cloud. So people understand what's the cloud and that the rules are different, that it operates in a different way. So you can very simply and easy and fast start the server, but some other things may be completely different than in like regular data center. And last point, you already did at least one. So 3 places where did we struggle, and I'm especially talking about my previous project, Entitlement Server. And the first, it was deployed in AWS Cloud, so the first place where did we struggle was WAF. I mean, maybe not the first, but one of those. So in AWS, there is a WAF service, and we have some specific requirements in the application, and we were not able to use AWS WAF. So instead of spending 1-2 days for configuration, we spent, I think, half of a year creating our all WAF solution on EC2 instances. Similar thing, VPN. In AWS, there is a service for VPN. Very nice service, but our customer had some strange requirements, or at least not the requirements that were suitable when it comes to AWS. So we, instead of spending a day configuring VPN, we spent a year discussing everything with customer and creating our own solution for VPN. And no static IP addresses. So many customers will ask to provide us the static IP addresses that will never change, that they can whitelist in firewall, they will never change. And it is about private and public IP addresses. And of course, in AWS, Azure, we have something like elastic IPs and so on, so we can get kind of static IPs. But what if somebody, by mistake, deletes this IP address, deletes a Terraform resource or something like this? Then we may not be able to get this IP address. And if it is whitelisting or a whole system traffic, might be like hard to recover from it. And additionally, we are not, at the end, we are not the owner of the IP address, so everything may happen. So does it mean we shouldn't use cloud? I told you many bad things I think about cloud, but does it mean we shouldn't use it? Before answering this, I will tell you about comparative advantage. Just using some nice, I think, example. So imagine we have a factory that's assembling bicycles and e-scooters. Probably already heard about the concept, but anyway. And we have 2 employees. So Alice can do 3 bicycles an hour or 2 e-scooters an hour. We have Bob that does 1 bicycle an hour or 2 e-scooters an hour. And both of them work 8 hours a day. So let's compare 2 cases. In the first case, each of the employees spends half of the day working on bicycles and the second half on e-scooters. Then we will have in total 16 bicycles and 16 e-scooters. However, if we look at the second case, we see that Alice is much better in doing bicycles. So maybe let Alice do bicycles and Bob will do e-scooters. Then at the end of the day, we will have 20 for bicycle and 16 e-scooters, which means that it's good to be specialized at some things. The specialization is actually good. You can use this advantage of it to be more successful overall as a company, basically. However, just let me mention one thing, that it's good to use comparative advantage, good to be specialized in one thing and outsource in other things. Like I think it's typical to outsource accounting, for example. We are not accounting company, so we are not doing accounting. However, you shouldn't outsource the key areas. Just imagine what would happen if we outsource doing software to another company and we would be just selling software. And it's not so great. And imagine what would happen if some of the country decided that 100% of, I don't know, cucumbers will come from import. And now imagine what would happen if that was not cucumbers, but coal or gas. So comparative advantage is a nice theory, but we should also always consider the worst case scenario. Anyway, going back to cloud, the cloud is using the benefit of comparative advantage. So we are more like a software company. We create software. Amazon, Google, and so on, they are companies that that can create a good infrastructure. So overall, we can be much more successful if we use cloud. So answering the question I asked a moment ago, we should use cloud wisely, which means that we should know benefits and also the limitations of the cloud. So going straight to the summary, because time is running up, the summary is just a list of tips, 3 tips. First of all, do not expect miracles. When using cloud, do not expect one-click migration. First of all, there are services that will help you, but do not expect miracles. Do not expect that cloud will resolve all your problems. Do not expect high availability out of the box. You have to configure a lot of things to be highly available. Do not expect that everybody will understand it. So you may work with customers that know nothing about the cloud, and it may be completely different for them, and they won't be happy to go with solution in the cloud. And do not expect things to happen fast, especially at the beginning. It will take a lot of time to really be in the cloud. One important thing I mentioned is that the cloud is a ready product. So we should treat it as something we have delivered in the box. It's already there. It has some services. Each of the services has some features that are available to us, and we are not able to change those features. Of course, we can sometimes ask, but if something is not available in the cloud, it's just simply not available. We should adjust to cloud. It's not that cloud should adjust to us. And this is important, to check documentation and to be sure that things are there. And do your homework. So learn about the cloud, do some courses, study the documentation, study multiple clouds, and study multiple services. Because, for example, something may be not available in Azure, but maybe Google Cloud will be good for you. Maybe not this service, but that service. Maybe not this load balancer, but another load balancer will be suitable for you. Anyway, be prepared, because the cloud era is here. Thank you very much. Enjoy rest of your day. Enjoy rest of your expo.